All right, folks, welcome to the first game of the NBC Game of the Week season in 1978. And we are using season ticket baseball. If I can get this thing to line up properly for me. Don't know why it's out of balance here. Let's see if I can get a little closer, maybe. I don't think we got far up in the air. I think that might be the best angle right there to approach it, right there. So hopefully that will do it. Don't know if I need this overhead little light that's on the webcam or not. That's without it. That's with it. So I don't know if it makes a difference one way or the other. All right, Mr. Robert, good to see you. Ernest and Kenyon, good to see all of you. So we're at the first NBC game of the week. It's played Saturday, April 8th, 1978. John Matlack for the Rangers against Ron Guidry for the New York Yankees. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. And the first step that always occurs usually in season ticket baseball is to determine weather. It's an optional rule, but I still like to use it. I don't want to mess with the rain or the wind. I'm just going to basically deal with the temperature because that's going to affect the deep drives, either a yay or a nay on the deep drives. So we'll bring in Arlington Stadium, and we'll check Arlington Stadium out. This, of course, being a day game in April, the average temperature is 63 degrees. So we have to get above 66 to avoid a negative impact. I don't think there's any way in the world we're getting a 96. But so it should not be much of an effect because I'm going to roll these three dice. As long as they don't all three come up as ones, we're basically going to be at a no effect. And that's a 7. So 7 plus the 63 there makes it a base temperature of 70. Which is right here, the no effect. So there will not be any change to the ballpark effects for deep drives. So that'll just be the way it is. Let's look at the starting lineups. First for the New York Yankees, managed by Billy Martin. Willie Randolph at second, Mickey Rivers in center, Thurman Munson the designated hitter. Reggie Jackson's in right, Lou Piniella is in left, Cliff Johnson behind the plate. Chris Chambliss at first, Greg Nettles at third, and Bucky Blinkman Dent is the shortstop. Ron Guidry on the mound. For the Rangers, Mike Hargrove will lead off. Kind of strange they would have him lead off rather than Campaneris, but Hargrove bats first. Campaneris at short, Al Oliver in left, Richie Zisk in right, Toby Harris at third, Kurt Bavacqua, the designated hitter, Juan Beniquez in center, Bump Wills at second, and Jim Sundberg behind the plate. Now, I have a little line here by Richie Zisk for one reason and one reason only. All players in this game are at their primary position, so I don't have to worry about secondary defense except for Richie Zisk. Richie Zisk is listed here. His main defensive rating is left field, but in this game, he's playing right field. So we're going to go with these numbers right here, right there. So if it comes up, we'll get to that. If it comes up for a defensive check for right fielder, we'll check out his arm, his rating, and his arm and range, and his fielding rating to figure out whether it's an out, a single, or an error. But everyone else will use their primary position, so we won't have to worry about the secondary deal to begin with. But I do have, as a cheat sheet, I do have my ratings-based defensive card right here to help me out with some of the rules. I also, of course, have the rule book in front of me. So that, but hopefully playing those three practice, I know playing those three practice games definitely helped me. So I learned a couple of idiosyncrasies along the way and maybe some things to think about and things to help with the flow of the game, which has a good flow already. All right. Hello, Marlon. Good to see you. So we are, like I said, at opening day in Texas. Arlington Stadium, deep in the heart of Texas. And Guidry and Matlack are your starting pitchers. Matlack has a fatigue of 7, and so does Guidry. That means they can pitch 7 full innings before any fatigue takes place. Starting the 8th inning, that's when we worry about fatigue. Now, I did pull the rosters, the active rosters off of Diamond Mine Baseball. So I can show you who each team has as far as bench and bullpen players that they can turn to. For the Rangers, they have from the right side, they have John Ellis. They have, that's it, because they're stacking their lineup with righties against Guidry. Some switch hitters, they have Sandy Alomar, who was not carded. That's a PDF card. Sandy Alomar from the switch side, and Bobby Thompson is a switch hitter as well. All the others are left-handed hitters: Claudel Washington, Mike Jorgensen, John Lowenstein, and Jim Mason. Those are the bench players that Texas can turn to if they so desire. They have 4 arms in the bullpen, 2 righties and 2 lefties: Len Barker and Steve Comer from the right side, Roger Moret and Jim Umbarger from the left side. So those are the players that will be available in this game for Texas. If you didn't see them, that means they're not on the roster right now, or they're starting pitcher that starts in the future, so they can't be used. And we'll do the same thing now with the New York Yankees, so you can see who I have to work with and who I don't. So from the right side for the Yankees, they have 2 righties. They have Paul Blair and Fred Chicken Stanley. Switch hitter Roy White, and left-handed hitter Jim Spencer. Of course, he's not in there because of the lefty Matlack. Spencer has all kinds of troubles hitting lefties. In the bullpen from the right side, they have Dick Tidrow. They have Ken Clay, Raleigh Eastwick, and the Goose Gossage. And from the left side, Sparky Lyle. So those are the participants that can possibly be in this game, pending situations, game situations, and whatnot. But if you didn't see them right there, that means they're not going to appear in this game. It means they were not on the opening day rosters. Like I said, unless they're starting pitchers that start other games. All right, so I think that's going to about take care of it for the opening things. Larry, I know all about senior citizen stuff, so about ready to hit 60, so retirement is within grasp. It's very, very close. Looking forward to it. All right, so Willie Randolph will step in against John Matlack. Again, the stadium does not offer any difference in temperature to change anything. I do have the quick play sheet, quick start guide, if you want to call it that, for some help if I need it. I also got the rule book if I need it. And hopefully some of you guys, if you need it, or if I need it. All right, it's in the mid-50s here. It rained all day yesterday. It's overcast. I might be able to go out and cut the grass this afternoon. If not, I'll do it Monday. It's supposed to be in the 70s and sunny on Monday. I can do it after work, but I prefer to do it on Saturday if I can. It's a Saturday thing just to kind of get out of the way, but we just take it for what we can do. All right, so we're ready to go. NBC Game of the Week. Game number 1 is underway. We get a 4-14. So that's under Willie Randolph off of the splits. And 4-14 is going to be a leadoff walk to Willie Randolph. So how about that? Willie Randolph draws himself a leadoff walk. Now, would he dare try to steal? Matlack's got a decent hold rating of 7. Matlack, not Matlock. Andy Griffith is not in this game. So he's got a hold of 7. His steal is only a 2. So that's going to be very difficult to get the jump should they try to do it. And the catcher, Sundberg, has an arm of 6 compared to a 7 speed. Boy, Willie Randolph, they're going to hold him there. They're not going to try it. All right, that'll bring up Mickey Rivers, Mick the Quick. Oh, you're talking ages, not temperature. My bad. Well, I'll be 60 tomorrow. How about that? All right, here is Mickey Rivers. Oh, 695 on the stadium card. 695, and that's going to be a double right there. A double by Mickey Rivers. How about that? Right off the bat, Mickey Rivers will double. That'll move Randolph to 3rd. Would Randolph consider challenging the arm of the outfielder is the question. The double doesn't say where it goes. So I don't know if it's like it is in Strat where it's assumed to go to center field if it's not listed, or exactly how that's played. Somebody can maybe tell me that, because I hadn't really thought about it till now, but all the other positions have all the other singles and hits have numbers, have positions on it. This one just had 2B on it. It had no reference of where it's supposed to go. So I'm just going to, with nobody out, we're not going to, there's no, and you got the big boys coming up. Why run yourself out of an inning? So Randolph will stop at second base. So second and third, nobody out for Thurman Munson, the captain. Infield is back. Okay, you wouldn't be able to challenge. Okay. Thank you for that. So that means Randolph couldn't challenge if I wanted to. Thank you, Phoenix, for that clarification. And Captain, I saw your note too as well. Thank you very much. Hello, Dab. So yeah, if it's not listed, that means we don't assume it goes to center like we do in Strat. We just say there's no challenge able to be made. So second and third, nobody out. The infield is back for Thurman Munson. We get a 384, and that's on the non-split side. 384 is a single plus. That's going to score both runs from first and from second. That plus means a run on second will score. It's a 2-run single for Thurman Munson, and the Yankees have already given Ron Guidry a pretty big lead to work with. And by the way, I am using Pocket Pennant Run's computer to sim the rest of the games, and I will enter this game directly in the direct entry. But the Pocket Pennant Run game will be simming the 78 season. So I will go with the playoffs by whatever the Pocket Pennant Run computer comes up with. And if I get a tie, then I'll go by season ticket, like Robert calls it, on the board. Whoever's the best record on the board, if there's a tie, then I'll go with that. So here's Reggie now. That's a 638. 638 is going to be a 3-6 force play. So they force Munson at second base on the fielder's choice. Reggie will reach. The out goes 3-6. There's one away. And that'll bring up Sweet Lou Piniella. With Reggie at first and one out. 376. And that's going to be a single plus. So the plus means the run on second can score, but the run on first still only gets one base. So with that in mind, Reggie will stop at second base. So runners at first and second, and Matlack's having some serious issues trying to get through the first inning. That'll bring up Big Cliff Johnson. .285. That's a split chance against the righty. .285, and that's a deep drive to left field for Cliff Johnson. His power is a 4. So we're going to add 4 to the 2d6s and check this deep drive to left and see what happens. Those total of 5. You add the 4 to it for a 9. And as a 9, it's a single plus. And the batter could challenge the play to second base, but I think he will not. He will just hold. And it's a base hit. The runner on second base, Jackson, will score. And Piniella will take third on the plus. Single for Cliff Johnson. And all of a sudden now that's 4 hits and a walk in this game. And they've got Matlack on the ropes. It is 3-0 here in the first with runners on the corners and only one out. Did I add something wrong? Did I look at the dice wrong? Let me go back and where's my phone here? Let me go back and look at the instant replay on this. See if I added something wrong. I used arm instead of power. Oh, okay. Well, power is where's Cliff Johnson? Cliff Johnson. Oh, power was a 7. Okay, you're right. Power was a 7. And we add that to the 5, we get a 12. So the 12 is actually going to be a fly to left field. The runner on third could challenge to try to score. Or was there a runner on third before he hit the ball? There was not. I don't think. Reggie was on second as far as I know, so he cannot move up. So let me fix all that. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, so let's fix this. So maybe Matlack's not as in dire straits as I originally thought. So Reggie was on second base, which means he cannot move up. And Piniella will stay at first base. It's a deep fly to left, but there's no tag up because there's no runner on third. So there's 2 away. Thank you for letting me know that so I can get this correct. It was just a misread where I looked at the wrong. I looked at his for some reason on him, I looked at the arm instead of the power, and I don't know why. Just a misread, that's all. So runners should be back at first and second now with 2 outs for Chris Chambliss. So I think it. No, please interrupt anything that is a mistake. Please let me know. I'm not worried about the flow. I want to get it right. The flow will eventually come once I get everything right. Now, you're correct, Larry. It's, got my glasses and my bifocals on. I should be able to see that stuff. I just looked at the wrong place. That's all. All right, here's Chambliss with 2 on and 2 out. That's a 6-15. We're getting a lot of ballpark rolls. 6-15, though, is going to be a pop-up to second base, and that's going to end the inning. And that is a 6. That means it actually was fouled into foul territory, and the second baseman, Bump Wills, went in behind the first base bag in foul territory. He had a better angle at it than Hargrove did, and he made the catch. That's one thing I did learn is if the D6 is a 6, it's a foul on a pop-out. 1 to 5, it's or did I have it backwards? 1 to 5. That doesn't really matter at this point. I think 1 to 5 is foul, and that one's 6. So it actually was a pop-up, not a foul. All right. So the Yankees put across 2. It could have been a lot worse for Matlack, but 2 is bad enough when you got to face the Cy Young winner of that season, Ron Guidry, Mr. 25-3. Okay, so it's only on those over there. Okay, so the pop up to short and second don't count. They just count as regular pop-ups, not foul outs. Good to know. All right. So Bert Campaneris is on deck, but Hargrove, you would think Campaneris would be the leadoff man and Hargrove would hit second, but for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, manager Billy Hunter decided to do it this way. So here we go with Hargrove against Guidry. That's a 693. Now, it says you add 10 with the home team, so that becomes a deep drive to center field. When we add the 10, it goes to 703 and above. So that's a deep drive to center field for Hargrove. Hargrove's power is a 3, so we're going to add 3 on this deep drive to center field. We're going to add 3. Make sure his power was a 3. Make sure I didn't misread it. Power is a 3. Okay. We're going to add 3 to this. 3 and 7, 8 makes an 11. Deep drive to center, and 11 is a double. The batter could challenge, but down 2-0, they're not going to challenge. It's a solid double. Solid double for Hargrove. He's aboard on a leadoff double. And that was part of the home cooking. 693 would have been a single, but you got the extra base because of that home field advantage. So that'll bring up Campaneris. That's a 587. That could be trouble. That's a center fielder check for the Yankees, and that is Mickey Rivers, but it's a 7, and that 7 is not looking too good. That's going to be a double off the bat, because Rivers couldn't get to it. 587 is going to produce a double. So back-to-back doubles to start the game, and now Guidry's having issues. It's now 2-1 as Campaneris reaches on the double. What's going on here? Getting some wild rolls. Here's Al Oliver. That's a 110. That's a redirect to a 310, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Guidry gets the K on Al Oliver, and that'll bring up Richie Zisk. Pitch to Zisk at your own risk is what they said in 77. I'm sure about 78. 225, that's a split chance against a righty. 225 is a 5-3 double play, but the runner is not forced, so it's just a 5-3 ground out with Campaneris holding at second base. So 2 down all of a sudden for Toby Harrah. 5-2-5, that's for the catcher, Cliff Johnson. See what he can do on a 5-2-5. 5-2-5 is going to produce a walk. Cliff Johnson, not the best defensive catcher, A better catcher may have framed that for a strikeout or something. Thurman Munson would have also produced a walk if he was catching. So it's either way you go. You can't win on that one. So that's going to be a walk. 2-out walk puts 2 on and 2 out for Kurt Bavacqua. Best known for winning a bubble blowing contest. I think in 75 or 76, somewhere back in there. 699. And we know we're going to add 10. So again, it's a deep drive to center field. His power is a 6. Boy, Guidry's getting some bad rolls here. So his deep drive to center, and he's going to add 6 to whatever we get here because that's his power rating. 6 and a 3 is a total of 9, and that's going to be a single plus. Runner on first could challenge going to third. We know the runner on second is going to score to tie the game. Runner on first, Hera doesn't necessarily run all that well, so they will hold him at second base. So first and second, but we got to tie a game at 2. These deep drives are really getting on Guidry's nerves. It's 2-2 here in the first inning. I was expecting a pitching duel, and all of a sudden all this hitting broke out. Here's Benitez. 285 against the right-hander, and that's a deep drive to center field on a 285. So power rating is a 6 for Benitez. So we're going to add the 6 to whatever we get here. We get a 9. That's a total of 15. That's going to end up being a fly to center, though, and that's going to end the inning. So Guidry catches a break there. But 2 runs for the Rangers, and we got a tie game at 2 at the end of 1 complete. Very strange game. At least early on, we're getting a lot of deep drive rolls off the ballpark card. Don't normally get that many in 1 inning, but we've been getting them. So we go to the second inning. 2-2, and Greg Nettles, the third baseman, is standing at the plate, seeing what he can do. That's a 531. That's to the first baseman, Hargrove. And with a 1 there, that's pretty simple. Should be pretty easy. That's going to be a 3-6-3 double play if there was anybody on base, but it's simply going to be a 3 unassisted. As Hargrove will take it to the bag himself. 1 down for Bucky Dent. Bucky bleeping Dent. That's a 2-0-1. And that's going to be a redirect to a 4-0-1. So 4-0-1 is going to be a 1-3 ground out. So right back to Matlack. 2 quick outs, and maybe the pitching starting to take over. They got settled in that first inning. Maybe it was first inning jitters. I don't know. 474 against the lefty for Randolph. 474 is a 6-3 ground out. So it's a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the second for Matlack. Much more to his liking, I'm sure. And we go to the bottom of the second, still tied at 2. Bump Wills will lead off for Texas. Guidry trying to get his act together as well here in the second inning. Bump Wills, switch hitter. 522. That should be okay for Johnson with that blue 2. That should be enough to get by, you would think. But no, it's not. 522 is actually going to be a walk again. Unbelievable. Thurman Munson, that would have been a strikeout. He would have framed that, but he's not catching. Cliff Johnson's catching. So as it stands, Bump Wills will draw the leadoff walk. Guidry's hold is excellent at a 9. His steal is only a 5. Can he get the lead? Well, he has to beat a 19, and his steal is a 5. So that may be a little difficult to do, but they're still going to try it anyway. These 2 dice plus the 5 have to equal 19 or better to get the lead. They do not, so he will not get the lead. He will hold, and Jim Sundberg is your batter. 267, that's a split chance. 267 is a strikeout for Guidry. Out number 1. That is the second strikeout for Guidry. To go with 2 walks. So it's got 2 walks and 2 strikeouts in 2 innings. Here's Hargrove. Oh, back to that deep drives again. 658 turns into 668 as the home team. 668, though, is a 1-3 ground out. The runner will advance to second base, but now there are 2 away. Guidry's only play was to first base. So advancing to scoring position is Bump Wills. And Bert Campaneris is your hitter. .137, and that's going to be a strikeout for Guidry to end the inning. So nothing doing there, and we get a little stability back in the pitching staffs. And at the end of 2, it is still 2-2. Matlack back out will face Rivers, Munson, and Jackson for the Yankees. Rivers doubled his first time up. 440. 440 against a left-hander is a strikeout. Would have been a single against a righty, but against a lefty, he strikes out. And for Matlack, that's his first strikeout. Or Matlack. I keep calling him Matlack. One of my favorite old shows from the 80s and 90s. I think it was from the 90s. Mr. Cheapo himself, Matlack. Here's Munson, 558. That's problematic for the third baseman. In this case, Toby Harrah. Toby Harrah, a 5.58 is going to be a single to left field for Thurman Munson. So Munson will reach on the single. He is no threat to try to steal. So he will stay put. But it is a base hit. And now here's Reggie Jackson. 193, and that's a bloop single. So being a bloop single, runner only gets 1 base because they have to wait and make sure it's not going to be caught. With 2 outs, they would have gotten 2 bases, but with 1 out or less, or 2 outs or less, or 1 out or less, you only get the 1 base. So runners at first and second for Sweet Lou. And like running into trouble again. 583. This should be okay for the center fielder. And that center fielder is Benitez. So we look at his defensive rating. A 5.83 is a fly to center field. Runner on third is out challenging. If I read this correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Phoenix Knight. But this is an F8 and R3 question mark exclamation point means the runner on second, or is that the runner on third challenging? All right, so there's no runner on third, so he's not going to be a double play. But if a runner was on third, he would be out going home. He'd have to go. He'd be mandatory. But in this case, there was no runner on third, so it's just a fly to center. All right. 2 down for Cliff Johnson. Johnson flew to left his first time up. 2 outs for Matlack. It's a 154, and that's a fly to right field to end the inning. So Matlack gets out of it. And we go to the bottom of the third, still 2-2. Here on the inaugural NBC Game of the Week. Guidry. And these, I tell you what, these printed sets they can be real slippery on you. They're real slick. So you got to be careful handling them. They'll slide right out of your hand. Nice cards. I like the quality for sure. All right, here is Mr. Benitez. No, what is he doing? He's not supposed to be there. He's supposed to be Al Oliver. I had him pulled out for defensive purposes. My bad. Hold on. Let's get him back to where he belongs. Benitez, Sundberg, Hargrove, Campaneris. Okay. So we are at Al Oliver time. Oliver will lead things off. Al Oliver. It's hard to compare it to the slickness of it kind of feels like a playing card. Feels different than inside pitch, that's for sure. A little bit different than inside pitch. More slick than inside pitch. More, I wouldn't say more glossy, but just more slick. They slide around. If you stack them up, they'll slide over real easy on you. Yeah, that's a good description. More like photo paper. I'm not sure what stock he uses. but there's a glossiness to it that make it really slippery, which, and shiny, which makes it nice, good. It's just when you're trying to maneuver it around, sometimes it can be a little bit on the cumbersome side. 414, reading it backwards. 414 against the lefty is going to be a 4-3 ground out. So now Oliver will ground out to Randolph. One down. And here's Richie Zisk. 686. We're back to the ballpark. It's going to be a 696. And that's going to be a walk. At least it won't be a deep drive. It'll just be a walk. So Zisk is aboard on the leadoff, or the one-out walk, rather. But he's not exactly a speed merchant out there, so he will hold. And Toby Harrah will take his cracks at it. 418 against a left-handed pitcher is another walk. So Harrah will draw the walk as well. So Guidry has walked the first two after getting the first out. He walks the next two. And for Guidry, that is walk number 4. Really uncharacteristic of Guidry to walk that many. He only walked 72 in 273 innings, but he's walked 4 here. And here's Bavacqua. 142, and that's going to be a strikeout for Guidry. So Guidry comes back with a strikeout of Bavacqua. Out number 2, and for Guidry, that is strikeout number 4. So he's got 4 walks and 4 strikeouts in just under 3 innings. So he's been all over the place. Here's Benito. 204, and that's going to be a redirect to a 404. 404 is going to be a 1-3 putout as he grounds it back to Guidry to end the inning. So that's going to do it for the Rangers. And now the pitching is starting to reassert itself. And we're stuck at 2 apiece as we go to the 4th inning. Matlack. We'll be facing Chambliss, Nettles, and Dent. To 230 against the lefty Chambliss. 230 is going to be a ground ball to first, and Hargrove will take it to the bag himself. 1 down. For Greg Nettles. 571. That should be an easy play for the left fielder. Left fielder is Oliver, not Zisk, but Oliver. So we look at Oliver's numbers in left field. And the blue die is a 1, so that's going to be an easy fly to left field. Again, any runner on third would have been thrown out trying to score, but that's not applicable here. It's just a fly to left for out number 2. Bucky Dent. I will say one thing, though. These printed sets are a little pricey. So if I get any more season ticket, it's going to almost certainly be PDF. I mean, I wanted one printed set just to have it, but the PDFs I print don't turn out too bad. So if I get any more in the future, the PDFs are much more in my price range. That way I can print off just the teams I want to play with. If I don't want to play with the whole season, I just want to do a World Series or something like that, I can just print the cards I need. Now here's Dent, 177. And that's a bloop single to first base, or past first base, or past whatever. It's just a bloop single, doesn't say where it goes. So it's 2-out single for Bucky Dent. In this case, the bloop didn't matter because nobody was on base. Dent's not going to be looking to run. He's only got a steal rating of 1, so we're not going to bother with that. He stole 3 bases, got caught once, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Here's Willie Randolph. It's a 308 for Randolph, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. Strikeout for Matlack to end the inning. And for Matlack, that's only his 2nd strikeout. But he puts another 0 on the board, and we go to the bottom of the 4th with the score still tied at 2. Guidry. And I want to thank Sports Time Machine Utah Mike. He sent me the schedule for all the NBC game of the week, so I've got them all laid out in advance. I know exactly who's going to be on each game. and that makes it easier. I can pull the cards and get those lineups set ahead of time. So up until the All-Star break, I got all the cards sorted and everything ready to go for the NBC game of the week. So when it comes to Saturday, all I got to do is put them on the board and get going. So a lot of the prep work has been done. 343, and that's a non-split for Bump Wills, and it's a strikeout. Strikeout number 5 for Ron Guidry as he gets Wills. And that will bring up Sundberg. Jim Sundberg, the catcher, number 9 hitter, was also, speaking of strikeouts, he was a strikeout victim back in the second inning. 690, it's going to turn to 700. That's going to be a walk. 702, 696 to 702 turns into a walk. So yet another walk. And that's the 5th walk from Guidry. He's got 5 strikeouts and 5 walks. Here's Hargrove. 125. And that's going to be a redirect to a 325. So 325 turns it to an infield single for Hargrove. How about that? This time the redirect doesn't hurt Texas. And they get runners on first and second on the infield single. Bert Campaneris up now with a chance to get something done, help his club. 345. And that's going to be a pop-up to first. Since the die falls into 1-5, it's a foul out to first. So in foul ground, Chambliss makes the catch, 2 down. Yep, Phillies and Cardinals is the next game that I'm going to be playing, Phillies and Cardinals. That will be next week's NBC game of the week from St. Louis, Philadelphia, and the Cardinals. I believe it's John Denny against Larry Christensen, but don't quote me on it. I think that's the matchup. Here's Oliver. 550. Should be easy with a 0 there. You would think the third baseman, Greg Nettles, would be all over that. And he certainly is. 550 is a 5-4-3 double play. But in this case, we're going to say it's just a 5-4 fielder's choice. He'll throw it to Randolph to retire Hargrove at second base to end the inning. And that's going to do it for the Rangers. We played 4, and the score is still 2-2. So last 3 innings, the pitching has shown up. And we start the top of the 5th with Mickey Rivers. Rivers is doubled and struck out. 1 for 2. That's a 528. That's trouble for the catcher, Sundberg. Probably going to be a walk of some sort. 528 actually shows as a pass ball. So with nobody on, it's going to be just a ball. So we reboot. 179, and that's a bloop single for Mickey Rivers. Now Rivers might be looking to get the lead here. See if he can steal a base, get himself in the scoring position. His steal is only a 2, though. Matlack's hold is a 7, so it's got to beat 17. 2 plus these 2 dice have to beat 17. That's only an 11, so it's not going to work. It's 13 doesn't beat 17, so he will hold. And that'll bring up Thurman Munson. That's a 279 against the right-hander. 279 is a 6-3 ground out, so that will move Rivers up to second base, as the only play for Campaneris was to first base. So with 1 out, the speedy Rivers is at second base as the go-ahead run for Reggie. 137, and that's going to be a redirect to 337. 337 is a strikeout. So Reggie with the whiff, 3rd strikeout for Matlack. And it's going to turn it all over now to Sweet Lou Piniella in a clutch situation. 2 outs and the speedy Rivers at second base. 455 against the left-handed pitching. 455 is a double to left field for Sweet Lou Piniella. And the Yankees take a 3-2 lead on the double by Piniella. Sweet Lou has done it. 455 right here on the split category. 455 is a double to left field. Scoring is Rivers, and it's a 3-2 Yankee lead. Bring up Cliff Johnson. He's 0 for 2. 494 and a 490. Boy, he just missed a deep drive to left by one number. But 494 is a deep fly out to center field. It's going to end the inning. But the Yankees get the lead thanks to Lou Pinella's double, RBI double. Puts them in the lead 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Now Guidry has been given a lead to work with. Can he hold it? He's got to deal with Richie Zisk to start things off. Zisk. .457 against the left-hander. That's a 4-6 ground out. So obviously nobody on, just a 4-3 ground out. Zisk is retired. Going to bring up Toby Hara. 4-16. And that's going to be a walk to Toby Hara. So Hara will draw the one-out walk. And for Guidry, that is walk number 6. Really uncharacteristic, all these walks. Vacqua, 209, and that is a redirect to a 409. 409 is a 6-4-3 double play. How about that? Just what the doctor ordered, 643, because that 209 turns into a redirect of 409. And the 409 against lefty pitching turns into that 6-4-3 double play. Well, against righties as well in this case. But either way, nothing doing for the Rangers. We go to the 6th inning, 3-2 Yankees. It'll be Chambliss, Nettles, and Dent, bottom of the order for the Yankees. That's a 3-0-4, and that's going to be a strikeout. Matlack picks up his 4th strikeout for Greg Nettles. That's a 687 on the ballpark card. 687 is going to be a solid single to center field. So Nettles is aboard with a one-out single. And that will send up Bucky Bleeping Dent. 559. That's trouble for Hara. That blue 9 is really not good at all for the defense. So that's going to be an error on Hara, a one-base error, E5 on Toby Hara. So Toby Hara boots it. It's going to put runners at first and second with one out, and the top of the order coming up in Willie Randolph. Matlack trying to pick up his teammate. 208 is a 4-6-3 double play. So he did pick him up. 208 is a 4-6-3 double play. So he helped his teammate out and got the ground ball double play to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Yankees. Twin killing takes care of that. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 3-2 Yankees. Guidry back out. We'll be facing Beniquez, Wills, and Sundberg. Also the bottom of the order for the Rangers. 172, and that's going to be a fly to right field. One away. Hauled in by Reggie. One down, and that will send up Bump Wills. Wills has walked and struck out. 333. 333 is going to strike out again. And for Guidry, that is strikeout number 6 to go with his 6 walks. Got 6 walks and 6 strikeouts. And here is Sundberg, 2 out, bases empty. 338. And that's going to be a fly to right field. That's going to end the inning. So an easy 1-2-3 inning for Guidry. He has been pretty effortless pitching pretty effortlessly after the first inning. Easy for me to say. He's had a much easier go of it after he got past the first inning hiccup. Maybe just wasn't warmed up properly in the bullpen. I don't know. Start the top of the 7th. Now, fatigue doesn't take place until the 8th because it's the next inning after this one. Even though it's got 7 listed, it doesn't start until the 8th inning. You go past that. Go past his fatigue by 1. It means he can pitch 7 full without any problems. So top of the 7th. Top of the 7th, Mickey Rivers. And Rivers has doubled and singled. He's 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. It's a 255. And that's going to be a 3-1 put out as Hargrove ranges to get it. Flips to Matlack covering. And there's one away. Ought to have a pool. See how many times I say Matlack. All right, here's Munson, 2 for 3 as well. 491. 491 against the lefty is going to be a fly to center field, a deep fly to center. 2 down. Here is Jackson. 337. And that's going to be another strikeout for Reggie. That is strikeout number 5 for Matlack. And that'll take care of the Yankees in order here in the top of the 7th. Matlack carries full endurance into his fatigue inning of the 8th. But we are now at the 7th inning stretch here in Texas. So if you'd like to just take a quick stretch break and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." All right. 7th inning stretch is in the books. And Guidry will be facing the top of the order, Hargrove, Campaneris, and Oliver. That's a 292 against the left-handed hitting Hargrove. Still a deep drive to right field for Hargrove. His power is a 3. So we'll see what happens when we add the 3 to the deep drive to right field. This column right here on the right-hand side. We're going to add 3 to these 2 D6s. We get a 13, and a 3 is a 16. Oh, he just missed a home run by 1 number. 17 would have been a homer to tie the game. 16 is warning track power. Fly ball to right field. Hargrove just got under it. Would have tied the game right there. Game of inches, as they say. And Hargrove is out. Did I bring up Campaneris? I'm sorry, D10s. I don't know why I said D6. It's D10s. All right. 677. It becomes 687 with the home team batting. So Campaneris on a 687 is going to single. A 1-out single for Campaneris, and he might be looking to run. He is the tying run. If he can get in scoring position, that would be something. Steal number, though, is only a 2. So I'm not sure if he can get the jump or not. Guidry's holds a 19. He's a 2. He would need to get 17. He would have to roll a 17 or better on these 2 D10s. And he does not. So he will not go anywhere. So he will stand pat for Al Oliver. 273 against the lefty is going to be a strikeout for Guidry. And for Guidry, that's strikeout number 7. He's got 6 walks and 7 strikeouts. But he's got the dangerous Richie Zisk to deal with. He's held Zisk in check so far, 0 for 2 with a walk. 138, probably do it again. 138 is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. That is strikeout number 8 for Ron Guidry. And we played 7 here in Arlington. Score remains Yankees 3 and Texas 2. This is kind of the score I was expecting. I just wasn't expecting most of the runs coming in the first inning. That was very unusual. But now things seem to have settled down. So this is the fatigue inning for both pitchers coming up. Anytime they give up a hit, walk, or whatnot, we add 10 to their number, which is going to affect ballpark rolls. Not deep drives, but ballpark rolls. Here's Lou Pinelli. He's 2 for 3 with a double. .582. That should be easy peasy for the center fielder, Juan Benitez. .582 is a fly to center, so that's one away. One down. And that'll bring up Cliff Johnson. .602. He has nothing against his fatigue, so we stay at .602, and it's a 6-3 ground out. 2 down for Chris Chambliss. This could be a case where both pitchers might pitch a complete game. .385, and that's non-split. .385 is going to be a fly to left field, and that's going to do it. 3 up and 3 down. He keeps full endurance into the 9th inning. And they gave up nothing. See if Guidry can do the same in his 8th inning. Facing Hera, Bavacqua, and Benitez. Now we are in the 8th inning, so obviously pinch hitting is going to be allowed, but the Rangers don't have a whole lot on the bench. The better hitters are left-handed. Well, really, even the hitters on the bench aren't that good. They're pitiful to be looking at. John Ellis has the highest average of .245, so I'm not sure we're going to do anything as far as pinch hitting. We're just going to go ahead and let it ride, I think. Here's Hera. That is a .361, and .361 is a fly to right field. Hauled in by Reggie, one away. Bavacqua is a .222 hitter. They will pinch hit for Bavacqua, who is 1 for 3. They will pinch hit with John Ellis. He's got a little bit better average, and he will stay in the game as the DH. So John Ellis will do the pinch hitting. He's the only decent hitter that's on the bench. .245 is the best they've got on the bench. See if that move pays off. Well, it's a defensive check, but it's going to pay off because that blue 9 is going to be a killer for Greg Nettles. That's an E5. I'm sorry, not an E5. It doesn't show as an error here. It's a single to left field, so I wonder how he ever gets an error. He had to make an error at some point. But here, it doesn't show any chance to make an error. But I'm assuming there's some other place he can make an error, but not right here. So that's going to be a single to left field as it gets past Nettles. And Ellis will reach. He's not much of a runner, but at least he got on. Now, do they want to pinch run for him is the question. That's certainly a possibility. His speed is a 0, so I would think they want to pinch run for him with somebody. Somebody's got to run better than this. Let's see. Fastest guy is Thompson with a 4 that I can see on here, speed-wise. So Bobby Thompson will pinch run and stay in the game as the DH because he's got a speed of 4. He's not going to try to steal, but he is going to pinch run with a speed of 4. So we'll see if that makes a difference or not. Here's Benitez. No, that's good, Phoenix. Like I said, I'm sure there's an error built in somewhere because they had to make an error at some point, but obviously they made so few they didn't want to come up on the card. 258, and that's a right-hander Benitez. 258 is another strikeout. Strikeout number 9 for Guidry. And here's Bump Wills. 153, and that's going to be another strikeout. Strikeout number 10 for Guidry. 10 strikeouts for Guidry now. And it's a 3-2 game as we go into the top of the 9th. And Thompson will stay in the game as the DH for Texas. Matlack, we'll see if he comes in again. Nettles Dent and Randolph. So he might let him pitch to Nettles and then possibly bring in a right-hander to face Dent and Randolph. In their bullpen, you got Steve Comer and you've got Len Barker. Comer's a much better pitcher. So Steve Comer loosening in the bullpen, he will be coming in most likely for Matlack after Matlack faces Nettles. Matlack to Nettles, 658. 658 is going to be a 6-3 ground out for one away. Matlack still has his full endurance, though, so I think they're going to let him continue until he gets in trouble. He allows a base runner, we'll take him out. How about that? Here's Bucky Dent. 142, and that's a redirect to a 342. 342 is a pop-up to first base in foul territory. So that is a foul ball into first base. And that's fielded by Hargrove for out number 2. So Matlack may go ahead and finish this game, or at least finish 9 innings. If it goes extras, they'll bring in Comer. Randolph, 338. 338's a single, though. Infield single for Randolph. So he's aboard with a single. However, you have left-hander Mickey Rivers coming up, so they're going to keep Matlack in there. Now, he does have 1 ding against his number, so we're going to add 10 on any ballpark checks of 600. We're going to add 10 to that. Randolph, is he really a threat to steal? No, not really. He's only got a steal rating of 2 or jump rating of 2. So, well, you know what? They're going to try it anyway. He's got to beat 7. He's got to equal or better 17. He's got a steal rating of 2. So he's got to. These 2 dice have to add up to 15 or higher, and they do not. It's only a 9, so he cannot get the lead. So here's Mickey Rivers. 4-12. And that's a fly to center field, and that's going to end the inning. So Matlack will go his 9 innings. Probably deserved a better fate than this, but he will come out. If it goes to a 10th inning, Steve Comer will be coming on. That's if it goes there. We'll do the final numbers on Matlack. Don't have the computer to assist me, so I got to do this manually. He's given up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits I've got him for, 3 runs. They were all earned. No homers in the game for either team. He walked 1. I think that's his only walk was the leadoff batter, Randolph. That was his only walk of the game. He walked Randolph to start the game, and that was it. And he struck out 5. So that is the line on Matlack. And now we go to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for the Rangers. It'll be Sundberg, and then Hargrove and Campaneris. Yankees do have Goose Gossage loosening in the bullpen just in case. But Guidry's looking to finish what he started. All those pitch counts up pretty high with those 6 walks and those 10 strikeouts. It's a lot of pitches. Oh, I think that's stuck in there. 313, and that's going to be a strikeout for Sundberg. Strikeout number 11 for Mr. Guidry. Strikeout number 11 for Guidry. Let's put this up just a touch so we don't lose the dice tray. So that'll bring up Hargrove, top of the order. Or did I bat anybody out of turn? Should that have been Bump Wills? My score sheets tell me Bump Wills should have been the one batting, not Sundberg. This may require a replay here. This may require a replay because these cards stick together. I had Juan Benitez striking out to end the inning in the 8th. So this possibly could have been a Bump Wills situation. No, this is a payoff pitch, Matt Marlin. I've just got it covered up by the line score, but it does say payoff pitch down there. So let me go into the to the video itself, or to the stream itself, and backtrack here using instant replay to go to the 8th inning and make sure, see what I did, because it looks like possibly that I pulled a card that were stuck together, and it should have been an at bat for Wills and not Sundberg. So one moment while I check all this out. Let's fast forward here to the bottom of the 8th, or backtrack to the bottom of the 8th, I should say. Let's see, Ellis pinch hit for Bavacqua, so I got that part down. So now I'm just going to see what happens after Ellis is at bat. It should be Benitez striking out to end the inning, but I just want to verify that. If that's the case, then we'll redo that last at bat, because I really think Bump Wills should have been the one batting. I want to make sure it's right. So let's see here. Ellis made the single. Oh, I know what it was. Ellis, I listed him as a strikeout for some reason on the score sheet, and I have no idea why. Did I only give the Rangers 2 outs? I hope I didn't. This would really be screwed up if I did that. This game would be played under protest. If I did, I'm surprised somebody wouldn't catch that, but let's just run through this here. Benitez with a runner on first and 1 out. Or maybe I did the at-bat of Wills and just didn't record it. That's possible. Probably what happened. Probably just didn't record it on the score sheet. Or it may have been, maybe I forgot to put the single here, and the strikeouts really belong to Bump Wills and Benitez. Let's see, 258 was a strikeout for Benitez, so I've got that right. I'm thinking this strikeout coming up, this Bump Wills at-bat coming up should be a strikeout. So the Ellis at-bat will stand as a strikeout. 153 on him wasn't. Yep, okay, that's what it was. I just didn't record the strikeout on Bump Wills for some strange reason. But that is 11 strikeouts now. So at least I've got it accurate. That's what I mainly wanted to make sure I didn't screw anything up. Okay, so we were accurate. Ellis, or Sundberg, was the first actual batter, and he did strike out. Okay, just for whatever reason, when I had that single by the pinch hitter Ellis, I didn't put it on the score sheet. I don't know why I didn't, but for some reason I didn't. Can't figure out why. Just happened. So now we're back in business, and Hargrove is your batter with 1 out and nobody on. That's a 158, and that's going to be another strikeout. Strikeout number 12 for Guidry. He's looking for the complete game. Gossage in the bullpen, but he may not be needed. Could be a double complete game here. 379, and that's in the non-split section. That's an E6. Now it says 2, so that means, I guess that means it's a 2-base error. 2-base error on the shortstop, Bucky Dent. It's got a 2 there, so I'm assuming that means, and I'll look at the sheet, my quick play sheet, but I believe that means it's a 2-base error. Yep, that's what it says right here. E6 with that parentheses and a 2-base error. There are no runners on base, so there's nobody to worry about scoring, but it is a 2-base error coming off of that E6 2-base error. So Campaneris will reach on the 2-base error, and it brings up Al Oliver. Al Oliver. Zisk is on deck, and if Guidry cannot get Oliver, they will bring in Goose Gossage to try to wrap it up. But lefty on lefty to go ahead and pitch to Oliver. He has held Oliver in check. Oliver's 0 for 4. 289, that's against a lefty. And that is a deep drive to right field. Go figure. A deep drive to right field. Oliver's power is a 7. This could be a walk-off. Deep drive to right field. We're going to add 7 to whatever these 2D6s are. And if he gets a 10 or higher, it's a walk-off home run. That's a 9. Do you believe that? 9 added to the 7 power rating is a 16, and a 16 is a fly ball to deepest right field, but not quite deep enough. And there's your ball game. Boy, talk about just missing it. Al Oliver almost walked this game off, but not quite. So there's your ball game. Yankees win. Yankees win. The Yankees win. 3-2. Double complete game. Guidry was the winner, 1-0. Matlack the loser, 0-1. And Ron Guidry is going to finish this game with 12 strikeouts. Unbelievable. See how many hits he gave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only gave up 5 hits. 2 runs and 5 hits. And I believe each team made an error. Hara made an error and Bucky Dent made an error. So 1 error apiece. 1 error apiece. 5 hits for the Rangers. 10 hits for the Yankees. Left on base, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yankees left on 8. Rangers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They left on 10, did Texas. So there you go. First game is in the books. Yankees win it 3-2. 3-2. And like I said, Al Oliver came within 1 number. Had this been a 10, that would have been a walk-off home run because it would have added to the 7, made it 17. And 17 would have been a home run, but 16 was not. So, and the adding 10 for the home team does not apply to deep drives, only to the 600 rolls that are not deep drives. So there you go. Game 1 is in the books. Next week, we'll be in the National League, which I prefer because that way there's no DH. And I can manage and do all kinds of double switches to irritate RJL to no end. As a matter of fact, thanks to Sports Time Machine, we have the schedule for the upcoming games in this replay. For the rest of the first block through most of the month of May, we will have the Phillies and the Cardinals next week in St. Louis on the 22nd. Well, it'll be the 26th in our real world, but 22nd and 78. Texas will see Texas again against the Detroit Tigers in Detroit. Then we go to Shea Stadium, have the Reds against the Mets. Then first week of May, the Dodgers visit Pittsburgh. May 13th, we got the Red Sox visiting Minnesota. And on May 20th, the Phillies visit the Mets. That's the first block. Picking it up at May 27th, the Tigers are at Boston. Dodgers are at the Phillies. Reds are at the Pirates. The Royals take on the White Sox. The Reds and Dodgers battle it out June 24th. July 1st, we get our first look at the Cubs. Phillies take on the Cubs. July 8th, there was no NBC game of the week on July 8th because of Wimbledon coverage. So since the Orioles did not appear in any other game, I picked the Orioles so we could at least show the Orioles once. So the Orioles will be taking on the Kansas City Royals. Again, this was not a real NBC game of the week because they had Wimbledon coverage. And then we go into, that's going to take us up to July 8th. And we're going to go to the All-Star game most likely after that. And we'll figure it out in the second half after that. I may alter this based on pennant races and stuff like that once we get into August and September. But up through the All-Star break, I'm going to keep it consistent with whatever NBC actually showed. So that's what we'll attempt to do. But here you go from here. Rangers and the Yankees. First NBC game of the week. Thank you, Ernest. I do appreciate that. Birthday is tomorrow. You only turn 60 once, so you might as well enjoy it, right? So that's going to do it from here tonight. Like I said, it'll be the Hotel California game in Stratomatic. It'll be the Boston Red Sox and Al Nipper against John Candelaria and the California Angels from the Big A in Anaheim. But here, first game of the NBC game of the week belongs to the Yankees as they eke out a 3-2 victory over the Texas Rangers. Double complete game from Ron Guidry and John Matlack. No bullpen needed. So hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. If somebody's watching this after the fact and see something I did wrong, or maybe a suggestion that might help streamline a little bit more, I'm all ears. Please let me know, and I'll do a little, tweaking and whatnot to get it straight. But other than that, I've got some honeydew things to get done, so those need to get done before it gets too late. But I do appreciate you spending part of your Saturday afternoon with me. Be sure to check out all the other content creators that will be streaming later on this afternoon and tonight. And until then, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.